You can see this grasses, this paragraph. You see that the grasses have started flowering here. Okay? At this stage, the nutrient content is low. Alright? You don't allow grasses to start flowering before you harvest if you want to store either as hay or silage. Harvest them at a younger age before flowering. But when the age is too young as well, we said that is not good because the moisture content is high, the dry matter content is low. Okay? So whenever you plant your pasture species, you should be monitoring that. Whether it is planted or it is a natural grazing land, you should always monitor when to harvest these materials and store them. And storage is very, very important, especially when you have a good number of grazing animals. You store these feed at the best time for them against periods of scarcity. So if you harvest it and ensile it, the quality will not be, the nutritive content will not be as good as when the material is harvested at a younger age. Okay, but here we have no option now. We shouldn't go beyond this place. The essence here is to show you how to ensile, just at a small scale. Have you watched the video I gave you? Who has watched? You have seen how ensiling is done commercially. Okay? Have you seen it? Yes. Very good. Who else has watched? Have you watched it well? You have seen how ensiling is done commercially, but such level of ensiling, you cannot think of that in the South Pacific for now. Okay? You cannot think of that in South Pacific. One, because animal numbers are very small. Then land is a serious issue. Imagine the land area there, you can hardly get that by one farmer here. So land is a major problem here. Then the level of mechanization is very high, which is beyond what this region can afford for now. Okay, but yet we can store forage using very simple means, simple tools, a knife. But the knife will not be very effective. There is one equipment that is one farm tool that is very efficient at harvesting this manually, which is called the sickle. The sickle is there in Fiji, but in Samoa there is no sickle at all. I tried looking for sickle when I came here. There is no sickle. But this is not meant for harvesting grass really. The sickle is a bent, okay? The blade is bent, you hold it, just harvest very fast. I think when I travel to Fiji next, I will make sure I buy a sickle. Okay? And that is why in the chicken, there are feathers in the chicken known as sickle feathers. The feathers of the tail of the chicken. Because the feathers go like this, okay? We call them sickle feathers. That name came after the farm tool, sickle. Okay? The name came after the farm tool known as sickle. Okay. With a sickle, if you are harvesting here with a sickle, the sickle is bent already. You only fold and pull. Only fold and pull to harvest a lot of grasses within a very short period of time. Okay? But here we have to spend a lot of energy. Spend a lot of energy and waste a lot of time. Spend energy and waste time.
Any more knife? Only one?
Volunteers. Okay. Anyone volunteer?
Michael?
No, don't waste your plastic bag here. This is just an example I'm giving you You will all go ahead, harvest your forage and ensile it. You shouldn't wait. This will be mine. Okay?
So today you were saying that the moisture should be reduced, but now we are harvesting during this rainy time.
But for you to reduce the moisture, you must harvest first. You can't reduce the moisture while it is standing there. You have magic. You have to harvest it first to be able to reduce the moisture. By the time you leave this one, if the sun is hot today, by the time you leave this one here, spread it very well, it will lose 10 to 15% moisture before the end of the day. And that is the right thing to ensile. You don't allow it to lose too much moisture. If it loses too much moisture, you will have to spray water again on it, because the microbes that are fermenting this have minimum requirement for moisture, water. Microbial activity is never possible in the absence of water. When you the requirement for microbial growth, okay, the pH, the nutrients, including water, okay, microbes do not do well on dry materials. So you have to wilt it. Okay, please harvest little more. Harvest little more. Yes, go ahead and harvest more.
To cut all the way.
Okay. Just harvest.
Yeah, the one in front.
Okay. Be careful, eh? With your leg. You should know that this is overgrown for ensiling. For you to produce a good quality silage, this is overgrown. Harvest them at a younger stage, before bloom stage. Okay? Okay, that's enough for Junior. That's enough. So we have you have seen the video you watched. As the forage is being harvested, it is being ground. Okay? Being ground, that makes compaction easier, because a material as it is, there is no way you can compact this efficiently and exclude oxygen completely. But when it is cut into smaller sizes, the exclusion of oxygen becomes very easy. So we said, when you are ensiling, the first step, to get the material harvested. Second step, allow the material to lose some moisture. But today we will not allow that, because we cannot wait. This is just an example I'm giving you. But when you have your plastic bags, when you are ensiling, I expect you to allow the material to lose some moisture. Okay? Depending on the intensity of the sun, if the sun is high, 1 day is enough. 1 day is enough to get rid of 10 to 15% moisture lost. Okay? Then once you chop, okay, we are going to do the chopping now. We need, it's good to have is that a strong stick there? There, is it a strong stick? Is it strong? Come and put it here. Then we chop. Let me show you. Yeah, cut it short. Cut it short. Your head.
Excuse me.
Cut it short. Okay, let me show you what to do. We lose a lot of it here. Yeah. We should have done this on a clean surface. Okay. let's take fetch this, go to, or should we just do it here and pack whatever we can pack for purpose of demonstration? Okay? Who has not watched the video? Who has not watched the video? Why didn't you watch
my umbrella. Why umbrella?
Why didn't you watch it? Huh? You forgot? For those who have watched the video, you could see that the particle sizes are fine. It's being ground directly. Okay? Poured in and before it goes to the silo. Okay? Okay, please. You go ahead. Ready? From there you give him. Yes. You first remove the root there. Where are we reducing the particle size again? To make it easier to compact. Okay? Why is compaction important? Why are we removing oxygen? Anaerobic. Because the bacteria that will cause the fermentation are anaerobic. They don't like oxygen. Okay? If you allow oxygen in the material, the color will be very poor. The color of the silage will be black. Very poor color, which the animal might not easily accept. Okay, animals will eat such materials only when there is nothing else to eat. Okay, they will eat that as the last option. Okay, very good. Okay, you go ahead. Very good. That is very good. Put your leg here.
Correct. Huh? Cut the ring. The ring. Cut the finger ring. No, but get lost Samoa, right? Dari Samoa. Ring get lost Samoa.
Okay, Lazarus.
Lazarus is back from the dead.
Lazarus has been resurrected.
Steady.
Lazarus is alive again. Careful. That's the way to do it. Stop it. You like him?
What's up?
Kung sa turang ng roasting.
Yummy. Nice one, Max.
Yeah, he's an expert.
Yeah.
Very good. The finer you cut, the better final product you get. The finer you chop, the better will be the quality of the final. Okay. I think we should this stop for demonstration. This should be enough. Okay. Gwen, let me have this. Okay. Which crop is this? Is it leguminous? No leguminous. The most important constituent here is carbohydrate. Okay? Very poor nitrogen content. Okay? And we said during fermentation, the microbes that are responsible for fermentation require both carbohydrate and nitrogen for their activity. That is why when you are ensiling materials like this, it is good to add what we call silage additive. What type of additive do you add to grasses? Silage made from grasses. What type of additive do you add? You can add urea. Why? Nitrogen. What can you add again? Chicken manure. Yes, and so on. Will you add molasses to this? Why? Because molasses is also a source of carbohydrate. You are adding carbohydrate to carbohydrate. You are not meeting the requirement of the microbe for fermentation. Okay? Such product will not be of good quality.
What if I mix with legume?
Yes! If you mix this with legume, that would be a very good question. You can mix this with a legume. When you have a legume, you chop your grasses and legume and mix them, inside them together. The microbe will meet their requirement in terms of carbohydrate and nitrogen. Okay? Because we said in the rumen, microbes need nitrogen to be able to ferment feed in the rumen. It is the same process. We are imitating what is happening in the rumen inside this bag. Okay? So if you are ensiling materials based on legumes, what are the additives you add? You can add legumes. If you are ensiling a legume, what can you add? Molasses. Yes, you add molasses to legume. To corn flour. You can add corn flour, you can add cassava flour, and so on. Okay? So after chopping, before this, ideally the material is supposed to be allowed to wilt, to lose some moisture. Start losing some moisture, it is chopped like this. You've seen on the video, the corn that was being harvested, the corn already was standing better, which lost a lot of moisture. Okay? So you can harvest directly, and then you do what you call, you fill the silo. This is the silo. Here, we say we have silos of various types. You can construct a silo underground, a bunker type silo. You can have a silo overhead silo, a steel type silos. I showed you pictures of those. Okay, and then you have, these are the common silos today on small scale farms. Very easy, quite portable and cheap. Okay, then you load the material in, load the material gradually, and then make sure you compact well. You compact well. In under commercial production, if you have silos that are bigger in capacity, maybe ground bunker type silo, you can do the compaction by entering the silo and stepping on the material in the silo. Or if the silos are of bigger capacity, you can drive tractors. You saw on the video, tractors are doing the compaction. Okay? Make sure you exclude, if you have any additive to add, if you have any additive, okay, oh, my silo is punctured. Okay? Okay? That is why I gave you two, eh? I gave you two so that you put them together and be careful, it is not punctured. Once it's punctured, then you are giving way to more oxygen. Okay? You are giving way to more oxygen. Okay? Then, if you have any additives, as you are compacting, After compact one layer, you have your molasses. You spray little molasses before you load again. Okay? Before you load another layer. If it is a forage, you are using corn flour as additive. At this stage, you spray some corn flour. Add again, compact, spread your additive. Add again, compact. Compact well. Another puncture. I will double it now. Okay. Double it. Compact this well. Double it. You. We exclude air completely, okay? But more air is coming in from here. Do it very fast, huh? Then exclude air and tie it well. Exclude air and tie it well.
Okay.
No, that will not be a good way to hold this. Okay, you may leave weight. You may give room for more air to enter. No air? Well, we have tried our best. Okay? This way, you keep this. Within 3 weeks to 4 weeks, the material will have been fermented enough. You see changes. But the color produced in this will not be so good. Why? Because it's too wet, too much moisture. Okay? If you produce your own silage, then we will compare with this. Depending on the extent of wilting, the extent of moisture reduction you have achieved, you see the color also will change. Reduction of moisture is a very important factor affecting the color of silage. Okay? By the time you store a large quantity of this, buying this plastic bag is very cheap. You can fill maybe over hundreds of these bags and keep. You have 5 to 10 cows or about 20 sheep. By the time you store this, when the period of the season changes such that these forages are no longer available for grazing, then you open the silage. You feed gradually. Once you open a bag, you take out and feed depending on the number of animals you have. Then you tie it back. It will not go bad. Why won't it go bad? Because it has undergone serious fermentation. What the microbes do here under anaerobic condition, what they do, we said the pH of the rumen is what? Acidic. In the rumen, a lot of acid is produced as a result of this fermentation. Okay? Then, when it goes again, the acidity in the rumen is not as high as that in the abomasum. The abomasum is more acidic again, and it is that acidity that will kill the microbes. So microbes do ferment here and produce acid. When they produce enough acid, the high acidity will kill the microbes. When the microbes are dead, the product remains of a stable color. It will not change any further because the microbes causing the fermentation are now dead. Why are they dead? Because they produce more acid that they can support. they can withstand. Okay? When the microbes die, the microbes themselves serve as a source of additional protein in the material ensiled, in the silage. Okay? So this is the process of ensiling. We have ensiled a grass here. Last year we were having a lot of lab here, a good leguminous crop, but they have disappeared already. They have been cleared off. Okay, we would have mixed lab and grass to ensile also and see a mixture of silage, a mixture of grasses and legumes silage. Okay, so do this when you have grazing animals back home. It will solve a lot of problems. You'll be able to preserve these materials when they are highly nutritious, and then you'll be able to feed your animals when during the dry season, when the forages are no longer readily available. Okay, but when you allow forages to over dry on the grazing land, they turn into what we call straw or standing hay. As standing hay or straw, the color is yellow. That has very low nutritive content. Very low nutritive content. You harvest at a stage when the nutritive content is quite good. But if you don't harvest at that time, as you allow it to grow older, it loses most of the nutrients complex with one another. Okay? Are there any questions? If there are no questions,